Hi there. This is a sketch from a YouTube tattoo artist called Sam Clark. Was watching one of his videos and I just saw his face and thought, that's an interesting face. I'm going to give it a go. So I set about doing a sketch, which was rough, and I kept changing and changing and just trying to get the rough sketch in place. And I succeeded to kind of get the darks and lights. So then I started roughing in with a big brush, colors and shapes and forms, and just really loosely roughing it in. And sometimes, like this image, it's rather comical looking, but the point isn't to make it look realistic, or it's just to play with the colors and get the colors of the light. You can see I was trying to check the shape of the head and threw in some features, again, very comical looking. So as it progresses, it does get a little better. So I went back in and started to look for the shapes of the features and sketch them in a little better so that I could start doing some detail rendering. And I was pretty happy with how this part of it was going. But I like the line of the particular brush that I was using for this for sketching, and I was sketching in that kind of rusty brown color so that it would blend in nicely once I started rendering the colors back in on top of it. So yeah, I continued to sketch, and this was all from just looking at the still from the screen. The details in the eyes are a little bit too big for the head at this point. There's some adjustments I'll make to those later, but I was grabbing what I could in the shapes and highlights and shadows and throwing them in at this point. I will continue with this at some point in the future, but I like how the rendering of the eyes was going. I think I captured the look. He's got too much of an intense stare. The lighting was somewhat more subdued than is shown here, but that's another detail that can be added later. And laying in the shadows, I realized that I had a little too much shadow, so I kind of pulled back on that and started trying to use lots of different colors to show the shadows and the lights in this one. Starting to get a little more used to the colors available, how to mix the colors in Procreate. And you'll notice that I threw in a background color because the white background it can often set you up to think that your colors are darker or more intense than they actually are. So it's really nice to have that bit of contrast. And that is it. And I will continue this when I refine it a little bit.